I mean, it sounds like the writing is almost on the wall for this. So I'm excited to see kind of where we land as we're getting locked in. PT versus Villager. The expectation of how this matchup plays is Squirtle. Stay on Squirtle as long as you can. You don't want to go on Ivysaur if you don't have to. You don't want to have to play the range game. Stay on Squirtle, which means that you don't want to take a lot of early chips. So you see now how Jerm is playing all the way off ledge to try to make it to where you have to switch off a Squirtle because getting edge guarded is too scary.
Yeah, and that was excellent because we already had 2 different character swaps just to make it back. So that was a lot of pressure. You could tell that Mimik was already getting a little nervous and antsy, but finally able to bring us back to a bit of neutral. Jerm still has a bit of the upper hand, already able to get that tree planted, the water gun coming out, and actually going to try to get a little bit off of that conversion, but the gyroid, or the Lloyd Rocket rather, going to put in a little bit of a challenge now for Mimik.
I like setting the tree down so that you don't have to deal too much with Squirtle's stubby buttons. So we switch to the Ivysaur, and this is exactly what Jerm wanted. Get off of Squirtle ASAP, and you have to. At 110%, you're going to lose your stock incredibly early. So now Jerm gets to try to play the runaway game and outrange with your projectiles. So Mimik is playing rush down Ivysaur, which is pretty rare.
No, and that's interesting to see because honestly, I've commentated a fair bit of the Pokemon Trainer. I haven't seen a rushdown Ivysaur before, so that's a really interesting habit to take up, but it is something that the situation calls for. You can see Charizard out, going to be the big body character, unfortunately going to have that tree straight at the ledge, not able to chop it down just enough to cause the damage, but that Lloyd Rocket, again, just being a good tool used by Jerm in order to set up and really limit a lot of Mimik's movement.
I can already tell in Mimik's head, he's like, why did I pick PS2? This stage is way too long. Villager is running away nonstop. Every time you try to close the gap, guess what? There's more stage for Jerm to back up on. So I imagine already we're thinking about a stage counter pick because this is absurd. The one time you try to approach, Jerm calls it out, dashes up, and catches you with the anti-air.
Yeah, and that was honestly a great stock from Jerm because Mimik wasn't even that high in terms of percentages yet, but then to be able to take that stock off of the Charizard, right where he stood, so great stuff from Jerm to already be able to get that going. Jerm also seems to be not anywhere close to losing this next stock, at a pretty light weight, still not losing the stock just because Mimik isn't able to approach at all.
Yeah, we're starting to see some of that matchup experience we were talking about too. This is looking like a practiced Villager at the moment. Just any time that you can get Mimik in disadvantage, it's set up the contraption, get the tree down, make sure that it's very difficult for the Charizard to approach you. Now, that is some good ledge trapping, going aggressive to make sure that Jerm can't just camp on the ledge, and you needed that. At 107% and climbing, you kind of have to stay on the Charizard for the rest of the stock, and if you had lost that stock, it would have been curtains.
Yeah, that would have been really bad for Mimik, but it does seem to be that Jerm is carrying this lead pretty well at a very healthy 2 stocks to 1, going to try to get a little bit there with the up airs, down air though, getting as much as possible on this Squirtle. Definitely want to put up the damage now before any of the big hitters come out, and even so, getting that Lloyd Rocket and the perfect parry. Wow, very impressive from Mimik.
Yeah, that jab was crucial as well, but back on the ledge again, getting back off of Ivysaur, you have to, Flare Blitz back, and you're just going to get caught out. End lag is too high on that move, and you're not going to get favorable trades that often. I do like looking for the down smash. It should cover a lot of tech options, but a well-timed tech from Mimik gives him a little bit longer to live. Oh, God.
Yeah, that was a very low recovery, but great from Jerm to be able to really stall out the recovery as long as possible in order to make it back safely.
Yeah.
And that tree is going to be sealing out game number 1 for Jerm in a pretty solid lead.
That was tough. I already, like we said, I think first stock, you're already thinking about stage counter pick. I imagine what we're doing off rip is going to the smallest stage available. If I am Jerm here, I'm banning Smashville. I am banning probably, God, there really isn't that many bad stages in this matchup. So I just can't imagine that you want to go back to anything nearly as long. It doesn't matter if it's flat. I don't care if it's town and city. You're going somewhere smaller, and that's where we're at.
That's a much better choice. Small battlefield is definitely much more favorable. You don't want to give the Villager any room to really run away with that, and that was the problem. When you're on Charizard, you just don't have space to go to, and once Villager has set up his Lloyd Rocket, once he's got his trees planted and stuff, you basically don't have a stage.
Oh, we're approaching with Squirtle already at 69%. Like one more tick, forward air, back air, and we have to switch off to Ivysaur because you were in up smash percentage. And with the way that Jerm is playing around shield, dash back shield, anytime that Mimik finds an opening, oftentimes it's hitting Jerm's shield with an unsafe option. So if we have to switch off Squirtle, again, I don't see a world where this first stock goes Mimik's way.
Unfortunately, okay, finally getting that Squirtle pick, but it's not going to be enough because that bowling ball just coming straight out of the pocket, going to be straight to that stock and sending Mimik into the blast zone. So that is the first stock gone, but we do have the Ivysaur out now, which is now going to be just another big body for this villager to take advantage of.
I'm about to start asking villager mains how this matchup actually goes because Jerm is making this look severely oppressive, especially not being able to go to a stage where you can hold center. Like Hollow Bastion was probably another ban because if you can get Squirtle to hang out under the platform, it doesn't really matter where Jerm's at. You can kind of play around a whole lot easier than with these double plats. But edge guarding being a win condition, on stage being a win condition, you have so many opportunities as villager. But that was a cute little confirm. One more attempt at an edge guard.
Oh, okay. Able to get the tech off of that, and now getting stage control once again. So it is Mimik on the back foot, getting that perfect parry, and the beautiful punish as well. Great stock from Mimik.
But how much do you have to do to get back into the game? Like, all of those correct decisions you had to make, you had to tech, you had to find the parry, and then you had to execute the dash up smash. It's not easy, and that's just to close out an already high percentage stock after you tried to edge guard 4 times. The amount of mental fatigue that Mimik must be going through is immense.
Honestly, I think that this is the time to be figuring this out, especially because we have it's best of 5. This is game 2, so Mimik theoretically has a lot more time to figure this out. That side B, not able to get the stock just yet, but already putting Villager in a pretty dangerous territory. Jerm going to try to make the best off of this potential edge guard scenario as possible, just sort of chippering away at the damage, getting us back to the center of the stage, and now another edge guard. This could be it.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh. I thought another axe was coming out because it doesn't matter at that point. If you get hit by the get-up attack, the tree lingers long enough to take the stock, but nothing doing. Getting back to center a little bit here. Mimik off stage again, getting back so dangerous. Air dodge, the Waveland saves him a little bit of time. Oh.
All right, potentially dangerous scenario, but there is not the stock just yet, but both of these characters very much at kill percentage. You know, full rage gone, full rage gone from Mimik, I'm sorry, but still Jerm seems to be eager to try to take this lead as far as possible. Still at a very high percentage, getting the down throw, and now trying to continue through the shield, just going for that rapid jab. Not enough. Going away with the shield, but the Lloyd Rocket and the side B going to, I was expecting to see some up air strings, but that up smash coming out from Mimik, taking yet another stock.
Had to be a misinput from Jerm. You definitely aren't being off of a platform right there. That must have been a Lloyd Rocket stall that did not input correctly, but still with a pretty decent advantage. We have to find a lot of Squirtle confirms here, but Jerm DIing up and in to avoid getting confirmed in the Squirtle combos. Being a floaty character like Villager makes it so difficult for Squirtle to rack up that guaranteed damage, so we see an immediate swap off to Ivysaur because you don't want to lose your stock to that move right there.
Absolutely. That is the move that we saw that took so many stocks, and even so, Jerm able to seal out yet another game. So that is 2-0 right now for Jerm over Mimik.
But it looked better. The stage selection led to more interactions. It led to the interesting adaptation of Mimik staying on Charizard for longer and finding so much value off of nairs that linger and break through like projectile aerials from Villager. It led to up smash confirms off of parries. So I see the vision a little bit more here, but if we can get a little bit more value off of this Squirtle, I think that's where we're going to see a big turnaround. I don't know how you get that early lead though.
I agree. I think he's almost got it. I think this is the good thing about a Game 5 because it does, or best of 5, it does give you the chance to try a lot of things that may not otherwise have worked if you only have a couple of games to do it. But this is honestly where you need to start calling stuff out. You need to start figuring more out, and I think that this is Mimik's do or die.
Yeah, but it was 73, 81% on the Squirtle. Yeah, you're not coming back from that. We just switched immediately to the Charizard. Spend no time on the Ivysaur. Ivysaur is just Villager, but worse in this specific matchup. So Charizard showed value. Let's keep playing around it. It tried to cheese the stock off rib.
And that's funny because a lot of Pokemon trainers really favor the Ivysaur for a lot of the matchups, but this is not something that we're seeing Mimik doing, and I think it's working okay for the most part. However, I do worry, though, that he's still not able to make a whole lot off of really the Squirtle, which is really supposed to be like the starter that you use.
Yeah, you ideally you're trying to get your opponent to like 60-70% before you swap off, but unfortunate. Caught the ledge trap, was effectively an edge guard off of the tree. Takes the early stock, and once again, Squirtle already 36 and climbing.
Yeah, and especially off stage already, Ivysaur has a character with excellent recovery, but that Lloyd Rocket going to try to make this difficult for the Charizard as well. Still going to be just naring in place, trying to get that potential ledge trap, and not even going to be able to get a chance for a punish. You know, Jerm's at a very comfortable percentage right now, and Mimik is starting to get a bit on the back foot.
The approaching nairs from Jerm are so difficult to punish when it's full hop, and catching up the get-up attack, it's happened too many times, especially with tree at ledge. We already called it out before. It was only a matter of time before Jerm calls it out again, and the writing is, as I mentioned before, seeming to be on the wall in this matchup. We're starting to see Jerm's understanding of this matchup and what looks to be almost a 3-stock in a 3-0 banger.
Yeah, I mean, that does seem to be where it's going. I don't want to... Woo! Okay, down air coming out, trying to make some big bucks from Mimik, but unfortunately not able to get the stock off of it just yet. But, however, that up smash, though, definitely going to be taking that stock from a villager at that percentage. We do still have a lot of ground to make up if Mimik wants to be back in the running.
If your win condition, oh god, that's deep. If your win condition is parry up smash on the worst possible iteration of your character, that's kind of dire. I don't think you can roll through this. Ivysaur's roll is pretty bad.
I was gonna say, I don't know if he's getting off that ledge. Okay,
No
you air
shot.
dodge, you air dodge in order to recover high to the upper platform. That's the only way you gotta, and now you can't even land. You know, every single option, Jerm has just been very consistent in covering everything. You know, the tree covers the ledge, covers underneath this upper platform. Every single time, Mimik is just being forced to recover. And now Jerm has the upper hand and is going to seal us off with a 2-stock to end